Sadly, this committee often takes testimony, and I think we all know the mantra of where we are quantitatively on all of this. I mean, the International Panel on Climate Change, going back to the 1990s, indicated, hey, everybody, wake up. If this moves another 2 degrees Celsius warmer, we're going to have cataclysmic results. That culminated in almost 10 years ago, 196 countries signing on to the Paris Climate Accords in moving in a way to limit that to 1.5 degrees centigrade, and hopefully to get us by 2050, which will be here before you know it, to zero carbon emissions. Boy, they turned out to be wrong, but wrong in the sense that it all's happening a lot more rapidly than it is. The numbers that we promised to try to keep it to, well, yeah, it was the warmest year, 2024, as it continues every year that goes by. But we're at 1.5 degrees warmer from when they set this goal now in 2024. And we're about to cross the Rubicon. So now think of our country and what you think of us. And think about what's an existential threat in the way that we live. Think of our values, our leadership, and what we stand for. There's nothing that more needs the leadership of the United States than the fight against global warming. Sadly, the president has decided to pull away from the other 196 countries that remained a part of it. It's just morally wrong. I mean, the United States military in our country is the largest contributor toward the release of greenhouse gases. There's no contribution anymore for developing nations who are trying to feed themselves and stay healthy, let alone have the luxury, if you will, of dealing with climate change. That support to get them to be a part of the solution is going to end. More importantly, if you just want to think of it economically, we no longer have a seat at the table, which last year was a $2.1 trillion of economic wherewithal to convert toward carbon-free. So I mean, our president, and this isn't about condemning him, this is about condemning this policy. We're the richest, going to be again the richest nation in the world because we're standing on liquid gold. Anybody out there think that they're going to be the beneficiary unless you've got a lot of oil stocks or an executive at one of those companies about becoming the richest nation in the world again? Again, about greed. And if there's any reason to be optimistic, at least for now, major cities have found themselves to be a part of these efforts. Over 1,000 of our largest businesses to continue to be a part of these efforts. And I just think it's our, moral right, or not moral right, but obligation, as the state of New Jersey, knowing the things that you all stand for, knowing that you're in earnest, say you care about our kids and our grandkids, to move forward with this resolution. Last point, and everybody's touched on them, my God, last year alone, what was it, 72 days of 100+ degrees or more in the city of Phoenix. North Carolina, think about Hurricane Helene. We forget about these things, right? In a couple weeks. Think of what that was like in North Carolina. I mean, we've mentioned the 39 dead. I had 42 just over this last weekend from tornadoes. There was 9 inches of snow in New Orleans. Think about that. Forget about New Jersey being in the crosshairs about all the money, forget about, and the money and life that we have at risk as it relates to being in the floodplains. Think of the state of Florida and how many millions of people live there. They basically are on top of what is an ecological sponge, right? The moment that seawater starts to encroach, where are they going to get their fresh water from? Take them in at the Highlands, I guess, Senator. But I mean, this is just something that you can't emphasize enough as it relates to really the planet, the existence that we all know. So I'm just sad that our country, the greatest country in the world, is going to step away from being leaders on this effort. And I hope that, that this resolution, at least from our perspective, will set forth that sentiment to Washington. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration.